John Steinbeck was a writer who stood for the dignity of the common man, his words a testament to the struggles and triumphs of the human spirit. His life was a remarkable convergence of hardship and artistry, forged in the fires of the Great Depression and tempered by his own unflinching gaze on the world. Steinbeck's early life was marked by a mix of comfort and hardship, growing up in Salinas, California, where his father worked as a county treasurer and his mother was a former schoolteacher. The family's modest means and Steinbeck's own experiences working on ranches and farms would later influence his writing, giving him a deep understanding of the land and the people who worked it. His childhood was spent exploring the hills and valleys around Salinas, developing a strong connection to the natural world that would become a hallmark of his fiction. As a young man, Steinbeck attended Stanford University, though he never graduated, instead choosing to focus on his writing. It was during this time that he developed a keen interest in the works of William Faulkner and Gustave Flaubert, writers who would later influence his own unique style. Steinbeck's early writing career was marked by rejection and disappointment, but he persevered, eventually publishing his first novel, Cup of Gold, in 2009. The Great Depression had a profound impact on Steinbeck's work, as it did on the lives of so many Americans. His experiences traveling with migrant workers, listening to their stories and witnessing their struggles firsthand would later shape some of his most famous works, including Of Mice and Men and The Grapes of Wrath. These novels, with their stark portrayals of poverty, hardship, and resilience, would cement Steinbeck's reputation as a champion of the common man, a writer unafraid to confront the harsh realities of American life. Steinbeck's relationship with his contemporaries was complex, marked by both admiration and rivalry. Steinbeck's own writing style, with its emphasis on simplicity, clarity, and emotional honesty, would influence a generation of writers, including Raymond Carver and Richard Ford. Steinbeck's experiences during the Great Depression weren't just observational. He was deeply embedded in the lives of those struggling to survive. He'd often travel with migrant workers, sharing their meals and listening to their stories by the campfire. These moments, though fleeting, left an indelible mark on his writing, particularly in novels like Of Mice and Men and The Grapes of Wrath. The way he captured the desperation and resilience of these individuals, their faces weathered from the sun and their hands raw from labor, is a testament to his ability to find the humanity in even the most brutal of circumstances. It's worth noting that Steinbeck's own relationship with nature played a significant role in shaping his writing. Growing up in Salinas, he developed a profound respect for the land and its rhythms. He'd often take long walks through the hills, observing the way the light fell on the valleys and the manner in which the seasons changed the landscape. This connection to the natural world is evident in works like East of Eden, where the California landscape serves as a backdrop for the unfolding drama. Steinbeck's educational journey was marked by a mix of formal training and self-directed learning. It was during this time that he developed a deep appreciation for the works of writers like William Faulkner and Gustave Flaubert, whose influences can be seen in his own unique style. He was particularly drawn to their ability to craft narratives that were both deeply personal and universally relatable. As Steinbeck's writing career gained momentum, he found himself at the forefront of a literary movement that sought to capture the essence of American life during the Great Depression. His novels, with their stark portrayals of poverty and hardship, resonated deeply with readers who were struggling to make sense of the world around them. It's a testament to his skill as a writer that he was able to balance the bleakness of these stories with a profound sense of hope and resilience, often finding moments of beauty in the most unexpected places. Steinbeck's relationships with his contemporaries were complex and multifaceted. He was close friends with writers like John Dos Passos and Upton Sinclair, who shared his passion for social justice and his commitment to telling the stories of those who had been marginalized or overlooked. While Steinbeck admired Hemingway's writing style, he was also critical of his perceived machismo, which he saw as a limitation on his ability to fully explore the human condition. Steinbeck's connection to the land and his experiences with migrant workers deeply influenced his writing, but it was his relationship with his first wife, Carol Henning, that played a significant role in shaping his early career. She was a nurturer of his talent, encouraging him to pursue his passion for writing despite the financial struggles they faced. This partnership allowed Steinbeck to focus on his craft, and he began to develop a unique voice that would eventually resonate with readers across the country. During this period, Steinbeck's educational journey continued through self-directed learning. He devoured books by writers like William Faulkner, Gustave Flaubert, and John Keats, analyzing their techniques and styles to inform his own writing. This autodidactic approach allowed him to explore different narrative structures and experiment with language, laying the groundwork for the innovative storytelling that would become a hallmark of his work. One of Steinbeck's earliest major works, Tortilla Flat, published in 1935, marked a significant turning point in his career. This novel, set in Monterey, California, explored themes of community, friendship, and the struggles of the working class. While it received moderate critical acclaim, it was his subsequent novel, In Dubious Battle, that truly showcased his ability to craft compelling narratives about social justice and the human condition. Steinbeck's involvement with the labor movement and his experiences with migrant workers during the Great Depression heavily influenced In Dubious Battle. The novel's portrayal of a strike by fruit pickers in California, although fictional, was deeply rooted in the realities of the time. This work not only demonstrated Steinbeck's commitment to social justice, but also his capacity to weave complex, engaging stories that resonated with readers on a profound level. The historical context in which Steinbeck wrote was marked by immense social and economic upheaval. The Great Depression had left millions without jobs or homes, and the Dust Bowl had ravaged the agricultural heartland of America. It was against this backdrop that Steinbeck's work gained prominence, offering a voice to those who felt marginalized and overlooked. His ability to capture the essence of American life during this tumultuous period cemented his position as a leading literary figure of his time. Steinbeck's relationships with other writers of his era continued to evolve, with friendships like the one he shared with George S. Kaufman, a playwright and critic, providing both support and critical insight into his work. However, not all contemporaries viewed Steinbeck's rise with admiration. Some saw him as an outsider, a Californian who was more concerned with the stories of the common man than with the literary circles of the East Coast. Critics often pointed to Steinbeck's lack of formal education and his straightforward writing style as limitations. They argued that his work lacked the sophistication and complexity of other literary giants of the time. Yet, it was precisely this accessibility and his willingness to tackle tough social issues that made Steinbeck's novels resonate so deeply with the American public. As Steinbeck navigated the complexities of his career, he found himself increasingly drawn into the world of journalism, covering events like the war in Spain for the New York Herald Tribune. This experience not only broadened his perspective on global politics, but also honed his skills as a reporter, allowing him to observe and document human stories with even greater precision. Steinbeck's foray into journalism was significant, marking a period where he sought to understand the broader implications of the social and political upheavals of his time. His experiences in Spain, witnessing firsthand the devastating effects of war on civilians, would later influence works like The Moon is Down, a novel that explored themes of resistance and survival under oppressive regimes. As Steinbeck's career continued to flourish, he found himself at the forefront of a new wave of American literature, one that sought to give voice to the marginalized and the oppressed. His experiences with migrant workers, his involvement in the labor movement, and his observations of the devastating effects of the Great Depression all coalesced into a body of work that was both deeply personal and universally relatable. One of Steinbeck's most significant contributions to literature during this period was his use of realism, a technique that allowed him to paint vivid portraits of the people and places he wrote about. In works like Of Mice and Men and The Grapes of Wrath, Steinbeck employed a straightforward, unadorned style that seemed to strip away the artifice of traditional fiction, laying bare the harsh realities of life during the Great Depression. This approach was not without its critics, however. Some saw Steinbeck's work as too focused on the mundane, too concerned with the everyday struggles of ordinary people. They argued that his writing lacked the sophistication and complexity of other literary giants of the time, that it was too simplistic, too straightforward. But Steinbeck remained undeterred, convinced that the stories he was telling were essential to understanding the America of his time. Despite the criticisms, Steinbeck's work continued to resonate with readers across the country. And yet, even as he achieved greater success and recognition, Steinbeck remained committed to his craft, continually pushing himself to explore new themes, new techniques, and new stories. It was during this period that Steinbeck began to experiment with different narrative structures, incorporating elements of mythology, folklore, and symbolism into his work. In novels like The Pearl and East of Eden, Steinbeck drew on a wide range of sources, from the Bible to classical mythology, to create rich, complex stories that seemed to tap into something deeper and more profound than mere realism. This experimentation with narrative structure was not limited to his fiction, however. Steinbeck also began to explore the possibilities of non-fiction, writing essays and articles that reflected on everything from the natural world to the human condition. As Steinbeck navigated the complexities of his career, he found himself increasingly drawn into the world of politics, using his platform to speak out on issues like social justice, labor rights, and environmental conservation. His involvement with the Democratic Party, his support for progressive causes, and his outspoken criticism of injustice all made him a lightning rod for controversy. But Steinbeck remained undaunted, convinced that the writer had a responsibility to engage with the world around them. And yet, even as he moved within the circles of literary New York, Steinbeck remained deeply rooted in his California upbringing, drawing on the landscapes, the people, and the stories of his childhood to inform his writing. Through his works, he laid bare the harsh realities of the human condition, revealing the beauty and brutality that exists within us all. As he so eloquently wrote, "And now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good," a testament to the power of imperfection and the enduring importance of empathy. Steinbeck's legacy serves as a reminder that literature has the power to challenge, to inspire, and to transform us. His words continue to resonate with us today, a lasting tribute to his genius and his generosity of spirit. Like this episode if it hit true. Share it if you respect honest talk about authors. Subscribe because we'll do this again. This is Ernest, signing off.